So first of all, there's a very long hand at the back with a pen that is up, and it's the gentleman there. There's a microphone coming to you. Please introduce yourself. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Patrick Smith from Africa Confidential. Mr. Governor, welcome to London. This week, the Central Bank of Nigeria tweeted that the NNPC has not remitted 1 kobo of oil revenues in the past 6 months, at a time when Brent crude, I think, is above 80 a barrel, heading upwards. Some would say something is going badly wrong with NNPC. Some would blame it on the organized theft of Nigeria's oil, as much as 400,000 barrels a day, by colluding local and international companies and rogue officers in the security services. What is your solution to this very pressing problem?
Thank you very much. As you remember, Chatham House produced a report some years ago, and your current president described it about blood oil when he was here, President Buhari. So the lady just there, please, yes, you, yeah, madam, please go ahead. Second question.
Right, can I sit or stand?
Stand up, then people can see you, please.
Right, good afternoon all. Your Excellency, wonderful. The question I wanted to ask, you have touched on briefly. My name, first of all, is Baroness Tinubu Davis Kensington. I'm a Nigerian. You've touched on security, very important issue in Nigeria. But you've not told us how you're going to manage this. We'd like you to tell us how you will manage security in Nigeria. And second part of my question, there's loads of kidnapping of women and girls in Nigeria, rape of our young children in Nigeria. Can you tell us, Your Excellency, how this will be managed? Thank you.
Thank you very much for being very precise. Mr. TINUBU, we had many questions coming in live stream about how you're going to combat terrorism and violence against women, including from Bolupi Omosori. So the gentleman right here on the corner, yes, you, sir. There's a microphone there. Please go ahead. Please be, no long speech. We don't have time. So put your phone down. You're an intelligent gentleman. I know you can ask it straight.
Well, my name is Odiana Dominic Matthew. Thank you, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, for taking this opportunity to come and speak to us. You may know that I was one of your beneficiaries, even though I grew up in Lagos, but I was never a native. But I was granted the opportunity to work in Lagos State, even though I was from a different state. So that, tells me about how your policy is likely to be. But my question is this, because having worked for 10 years, there as a social development worker and youth worker during your administration in Lagos State, before coming here to qualify as a solicitor, practicing here in the UK, I'm more concerned about the young people. What program do you have for our young people? As you know, most political parties benefit from they benefit from the goodwill of young people. Okay. And so have you got plans, that will generate training, appointments,
thank you.
And also job security?
Okay, thank you so much. So what are your plans for youth, young people? If you would like to answer the questions, Mr. TINUBU. Please, if we can keep quiet and one conversation here. Thank you. Go ahead.
Let me once demonstrate here. One of those philosophers and one of the doctrine that I believe firmly in is teamship. Unbreakable team. To demonstrate that, I will choose the first question, assign it to Dele Alake.
Okay.
And the second question, assign to Nasiru El-Rufai. And third question, assigned to Ben Ayade.
All right, so can we have microphone coming in the front? And the first question is about blood oil. Oil. There, this gentleman. There. Yeah, El Rafai, I can see him. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Security, Nasiru El Rafai.
Yes, thank you very much for that. Now, the issue of oil theft in Nigeria is as deep-seated, and it's been long-standing. It's been there. It's not a new development, as we all know. It's been there for decades, and then we discover the various dimensions daily. Now, the incoming administration, by the grace of God, of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has devised some novelties in terms of strategies. First of all, to combat oil theft is tied to the security situation of Nigeria. Now, the questioner has linked it with connivance with the security agencies. Now, the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration has a three-pronged approach to this. In terms of regenerating, revamping, and recalibrating the security equipment, technology, that's one. The human angle, in terms of the size of the security too. Today, we have over 200 million people, and there's no way the current strength of our security agencies can adequately cope with the gargantuan and enormous problems of security, securing lives and property. So the personnel of all the security or coercive agencies will be increased to cope with the large population of Nigeria. That's another dimension. The third dimension is really employing state-of-the-art technology like drones. We know today that there is, in terms of kidnapping, in terms of even identify the oil theft and the oil pipelines, the illegal pipelines that have been rigged, that have been embedded in the ground for years. You cannot but employ technology like drones to pinpoint the actual spots where these things are. And this has already started. The current administration actually is making very good strides in this respect. They've been unearthing and discovering and arresting, apprehending the culprits in charge of all. So this will be intensified. It will continue and actually be taken to a higher level, such that in the first 6 months of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, oil theft will not only be reduced tremendously, the goal is to stop it in its entirety. I think that's all.
Excuse me. That does not mean a departure from the present administration. The classification, a theft and a receiver exists. So you have to classify the receiver as taking blood money.
So, Governor Al Rafai, please, go ahead.
Your Excellencies, my friend, Mr. Alex Vines, ladies and gentlemen. Security has been a big issue in Nigeria in the last few years, and that has affected not only rural economies, but agricultural production, commerce, and everything else. The Bola Tinubu administration will address these challenges, or whatever remains of it, after the efforts of this administration in at least 3 ways. First, policing. Nigeria has about 300,000 policemen for a population of over 200 million. We need at least twice that number. That will be achieved That will be achieved by amending the Constitution so that policing can be at federal, state, and even at community levels. With increased security footprint, there will be less and less of criminal activity. The second step is to look at our armed forces and security architecture. Nigerian armed forces are not more than 200,000 in size, the Army, Navy, the Air Force. While some countries are even looking at a space military, we are struggling with just less than 200,000 members of the armed forces for a country with a population of 200 million plus. The numbers, the equipment, the skills, and the training of the armed forces will be scaled up, will be increased rapidly to meet the asymmetric nature of the security challenges that we face. Because today, our armed forces are not fighting with other countries, they are fighting with non-state actors, and the doctrine, the training, the numbers must change. And the Bola Tinubu administration already has a blueprint which is embedded in our action plan to address this. We'll scale up the numbers of the armed forces, we'll ramp up not only the numbers, but the training and equipment. In Nigeria, in 1967, the total size of the Nigerian army was only 10,000. Because of the civil war, within a year, we ramped it up to 250,000. So it can be done. And what we are facing in Nigeria today, banditry, terrorism, separatism, and oil theft requires a new approach towards security, enhancing the numbers, providing enhanced technology, and collaborating with the rest of the world to ensure that our country is not only internally safe, but not a threat to our neighbors. Thirdly, the issue of proliferation of small arms. Following the collapse of Libya due to no fault of ours, will have to be addressed through collaboration with countries like Mali, Niger, Sudan, and Chad, and so on and so forth. This we have already started, but this will be deepened and broadened under the leadership of a new security team under the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration by the special grace of God. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a third question on education and youth, of which we have got about 30 questions on this that have come in, including from Mariam Haruna. So, Mr. Tinubbu, maybe you'd like to answer that question.
I would love to do so.
Yeah.
Youths are part of today, but they are the greatest asset for tomorrow. We need to prepare them from now, from our all-inclusive government. The youth has been part of that. I want the governor of Lagos State to stand up. Yes, it's a youth. It's driving the fifth largest economy in Africa today, and the transformative government of our legacy, my own personal legacy. Yes, the education system is to change. We overhaul it. Tinker with some areas with the philosophy that no one will be left behind. There be student loan for all the students. We are going to reform the Almajiri system. We are equally going to build additional schools and recruit more teachers and train them well. And they teach them the opportunity to govern. Give them that opportunity. Broadband, technology hubs, and so on and so forth will be established that youth can even develop technology languages on their own and make a better 21st century approach to governance in Nigeria.
Okay, we're having another round of questions. So I start with the lady there. You, yes. Please tell us who you are and keep your... No, it's the lady behind you. I'm so sorry.
My name is Boloma Mariam Adewale, Nigerian in diaspora of over 40 years. I know we have remittances over 30 billion remitted to Nigeria from worldwide every year. And I do appreciate that the leaders, they do come every electoral cycle to speak to us in diaspora, but we can't vote. Is there any plans you have, sir, with regards to diaspora voting?
Thank you so much. Good question. So the lady just here, you, madam, yes. Please go ahead. Yes, this lady. Yeah.
Hello. Louise Doas from AFP News Agency. I cover Nigeria. I'm based in Abuja. I have two quick questions.
No, one, please.
One? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, my question is, what exact steps will you take in your first year in administration to reduce unemployment rate, and in which sectors will you create jobs?
Okay, so that's the second question on reducing employment. And the gentleman just there, we will be coming back another round. Yes, you, sir? Go ahead.
Excellency, John Cookson, Arise News. You spent a long time today talking about the problems that Nigeria has, but you've been an integral part of the government for the last 2 terms. Why should people vote for you? Why are you a fit and proper person to be president?
Thank you very much. So the question was, you've served 2 terms in this government, so why should you be now elected as president? You've done your time in government. And then we have the question on remittances stroke, how can the diaspora vote? And then the question from Agence France Presse on how you're going to get employment up, how you're going to get economic growth. Those are the 3 questions.
Well, the same method. We call on Wale Edun to answer the
first question, is it?
Yes, first question.
Why diaspora can't vote? Can we have a microphone, please, coming here? No? Oh.
That's really, Alex, with the greatest respect to the person who asked that question. That's a question for the gentleman who's coming to you in January, the chairman of INEC. I don't think it's for him to answer.
Okay. Well, that's the answer then. Good.
But definitely he doesn't have an objection.
No,
but let's just have matter. It's a constitutional matter. But please, let's let Mr. TINUBU. He's the main speaker.
Okay, I think it was El-Rufai last night that mentioned that diaspora voters are entitled to voting. If you make contribution to the economy with remittances that you have been making, your right to vote should not be abrogated, but promoted. However, we are still building confidence in our democratic and voting system. INEC is still yet to assure us during this election that electronic transmission, the technology being used for accreditation, and the total vote count is reliable, dependable, and assuring in our democratic process before we introduce a complicated element of mail-in ballots and so on.
So, please. So my message is this conversation will be continued on 17th of January. We have Professor Yakubu here from INEC. Please come back and have a discussion with him. Second question, the one on economic growth and reducing unemployment. Please, sir, the microphone is just there for you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. As our presidential candidate said in his speech, his aim is to increase economic growth. He talked about getting at least 7% growth, because that in 10 years will help to double GDP growth. And the key to his policy for increasing economic growth, achieving rapid growth, is to enable the private sector to make the investments that will increase productivity, grow the economy, create the jobs, and reduce poverty. That's the trajectory. And in particular, he's going to implement both, as he mentioned, the monetary and fiscal policies that will free up the space for private investment, particularly in infrastructure, and also through the promotion of agro-allied industrial processing zones. It is in agriculture in particular where the jobs will be created that will enable not just growth, but inclusive growth that provides enough employment opportunities that will lead to reduction of poverty. So the TINUBU administration is essentially all about private sector-driven economic growth. And foreign direct investment will also be a key element of that process. That's the objective of the administration, and that's what they intend to achieve through the economic policy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And there was the third question from Arise News on that you've served 2 terms, Mr. TINUBU, already associated with government. Why should you be present, I guess, is the question that was asked.
I guess my name is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the current president is Muhammadu Buhari. And there's nowhere in the Constitution that says, a current administration cannot be a continuity in their own ways. It doesn't remove me from adaptation to my own economic philosophy and developmental program. I did it in Lagos. I converted the greatest liability threatening the environment and Lagos existence to asset of magnitude value. I've employed various hands in Lagos, whether you are from Lagos or not. I've encouraged private investment in Lagos more than any other part of the country. In fact, beating the federal government before we took over the reign of the regime. Vision, courage, and can-do attitude of an individual is self-given. And I believe I've earned that throughout the country.
So this may well be the last round of questions because the clock may defeat us. So the gentleman right at the back there, you, sir? Yes? Go ahead. First question.
Thank you. My name is Ayo. I lead a social justice charity here in the UK. I want to ask, in 2018, when Prime Minister Theresa May signed a defense partnership with Nigeria, renewed again this year, many look at that and say it has produced no benefit for people up and down Nigeria. What changes would you be looking to make to that defense partnership arrangement to make it more effective for all Nigerians?
Thank you very much. Very clear. The lady right at the back there, you. Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Welcome, sir.
Can you tell us your name, please, also?
My name is Priscilla Winkbo. I'm a freelance broadcast journalist. Sir, you've spoken a great deal about what you've done in Lagos, and yes, we're very aware of it, and you're a team player because you're able to include everybody else, and we appreciate your team here today, and they're very capable, and we can see that they have the capacity and the capability. However, sir, you are running for president, and as Nigerians, we would very much like to hear from you because we believe the office of the president, if voted in, will be you and not your team per se. So on that note, sir, if I may, we haven't seen you engage with Nigerians on a one-to-one interview or at any of the live programs that has been going on. And furthermore, there are issues at the moment running with regards to your identity, with regards to your age. So I wonder if you could provide some clarity on the issues of your identity and age, and also let us know when we can engage with you one-on-one in an interview, hear from you directly as the office holder. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to take two more, one from this row, one for that, and we've finished. You, sir, there. Yeah, please, go ahead. Yeah.
Good afternoon,
Please,
ladies and gentlemen.
Can we be quiet, please?
Your Excellency, Dr. Alex, my name is Otumba Eric Ayola. I'm the Secretary of the PSA UK, Progressive Solidarity for Ashiwaju. My question to you, Your Excellency, sir, is about the health sector. We know that we're suffering a great deal in Nigeria as per health. So, sir, how do you intend to do two things? One, uplift the provision of health in Nigeria, and secondly, how do we stop the brain drain of our best doctors, nurses escaping Japa to the UK or anywhere else? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll take one more and that's it. We had many questions online about health also, and what a TINUBU administration would do about health. So this is going to be very difficult for me. So the gentleman there, yes, you, sir. We're going to have a microphone coming to you. This is the final question. Yeah, there. Please, go ahead.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. President, my name is EJ Balangalari.
Please.
Mr. President, my name is EJ Balangalari, a member of the APC from Adamawa State. Your two opponents, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, has prided himself as a unifier, but has failed to unify his party. And the other one, I will not mention his name, is running his campaign on religion. After May 29th, how do you intend to unify Nigeria, and what should we expect your cabinet to look like?
Thank you very much. So you have 4 questions there, which were, how are you going to unify Nigeria after elections? That's the final one. Health, what are your health policies for Nigeria if you become president? The other one was the lady, I forget your name. Priscilla asked about, are you going to do one-to-ones? And also there's speculation about a number of issues around yourself. I guess I've read on the internet about health and various things. People are asking questions. And then there was the final question about that the UK-Nigeria defence partnership doesn't seem to have delivered. What would you like to see, a bilateral defence arrangement with the United Kingdom? How could it help Nigeria? Those were the questions.
Okay, I would still want to adopt some of the method I did to show the team and the capacity that we have. The woman leader for APC can answer the question on the health, I believe. That personal question, I will leave it to the last contribution.
Okay, so Priscilla, you'll get answered last of all.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
And
go ahead, please, on health. Let's move ahead.
And then we'll call on the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Gbajabiamila, to contribute on this, on the second question.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I want to very clearly state that the Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, when voted into power, is really very specific on achieving universal health coverage through certain indices, which we will be working at as a government. His Excellency has clearly stated that first, we need to fix the health system of Nigeria and improve on what is there already, providing the right environment in terms of the pay, in terms of the engagement, in terms of training of health workers, improving of the facilities, that's the infrastructure that we need to give Nigeria quality healthcare services. More importantly is the fact that we want to move into a system where we can make our primary healthcare more functional. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is also concerned in providing access for healthcare to everyone. He's going to do this by ensuring that he provides free healthcare for pregnant women and children under 5, and ensure that everyone has a mandatory contribution to our health insurance scheme. Beyond this, Nigeria has been more dependent on importing drugs from outside the country, vaccines from outside the country. He is going to also go into health manufacturing, where we'll produce the essential medicines that Nigerians can consume. But most importantly is the fact that he would look into the issue of brain drain and turn it around to become brain gain for Nigeria. All of us seated here, we have many doctors, many experts outside Nigeria, and that's why he's here today in the diaspora.